I'm not a witch. I'm nothing you've heard. I'm you. None of us are perfect, but none of us can be happy with what we see all around us.
In 2010, this was a real-life ad aired by a politician running for what was once a hotly contested United States Senate race. How and why did this happen?
I'm Christine O'Donnell, and I approve this message. I'm you.
Well, it all starts with the Tea Party. No, not that Tea Party. Or that Tea Party. This Tea Party.
I want to know, why are you people ignoring his birth certificate? He is not an American citizen. He is a citizen of Kenya.
Yes. The populist, conservative protest movement that started against Obama and his policies. And arguably against the color of his skin. In 2009 and 2010, these people became a force in Republican politics and called their loosely organized protest movement the Tea Party. And who was the unofficial leader of the Tea Party?
Say it ain't so, Joe. There you go again, pointing backwards.
Remember Sarah Palin? Well, the former vice presidential nominee went on to become a Tea Party rock star and their unofficial leader. An arguable precursor to Donald Trump with her anti-establishment, culture war, own the libs politics.
I can spot those liberal media folk.
And the way she would stick it to the media while simultaneously using that media in a symbiotic ratings-boosting relationship for both sides. Well, also like Donald Trump, she threw around endorsements as often as she made up words.
They could repudiate what it is.
In case you missed it, that was not repudiate, which means to reject, or refute, meaning to prove wrong.
Tea Party candidates would receive her Facebook endorsement, and just like that, would become a part of her pack of Mama Grizzlies. That's what she called them, giving them big boosts in Republican primaries, usually against more old-school, moderate Republican politicians. Okay, so there's your context. Republican Party gets more extreme, Sarah Palin becomes their unofficial leader, and she brings up other extreme candidates with her.
Now, doggone it, let's look ahead and tell Americans what we have to plan to do for them in the future.
So now we can finally talk about the election at hand. Delaware Senate 2010. This was Joe Biden's old seat that he vacated once he became vice president. Going in, Republicans were favored heavily. All indicators showed that 2010 was shaping up to be an unbelievably good year for the GOP, and they had a strong recruit. Mike Castle, former 2-term governor and 9-term Delaware congressman, was enormously popular and led likely Democratic nominee Chris Coons by double digits. He was the type of Republican that can win over independent and even Democratic voters in Delaware, winning in a blowout the same year Obama and Biden did the same. He was so strong that Beau Biden, state attorney general, Joe Biden's son, and the Democrats' strongest possible candidate chose to sit this one out. A Republican who won statewide in the blue state of Delaware 11 times and was crushing the leading Democrat in the polls was of course going to be savored and appreciated by Republicans in the primary, allowing him to cruise to nomination and then the general election. Ooh. Okay, it wasn't that simple. The truth is, betrayed by Castle's moderate voting record, although he opposed Obamacare and the stimulus, he did vote for the Wall Street bailout and a climate change bill known as cap and trade. Republicans wanted an alternative. Of course, the only reason that Castle could win in such a blue state in the first place was because he was moderate. But Republican voters either didn't understand or didn't care, as they quickly sought out an alternative candidate that they felt better represented them. Remember that video from earlier?
I want to know, why are you people ignoring his birth certificate?
If you're referring to the president there, he is a citizen of the United States.
Well, that was poor Mike Castle, up there on the stage, realizing that his old party has turned on him. All because he refused to repeat a racist lie. So who is this person that won the nomination over Castle?
I'm not a witch.
Enter Christine O'Donnell. She ran against Castle in the Republican primary as a quote-unquote true conservative and slowly started to build support for her underdog campaign through the Tea Party movement.
Delaware Republicans deserve better. That's why the Tea Party Express and Mark Levin support common-sense conservative Christine O'Donnell for U.S. Senate. O'Donnell opposed the bailouts and Obama's massive deficit spending, and she strongly supports repealing Obama's health care scheme.
And slowly started to build support for her underdog campaign through the Tea Party movement. She called Castle a liberal, deal-making, career Washington insider. An O'Donnell backer also insinuated that Castle was in a gay love affair without any evidence whatsoever.
Isn't Mike Castle cheating on his wife with a man? That's the rumor.
O'Donnell later denounced this accusation, but nevertheless continued to call him unmanly. Castle shot back with charges that O'Donnell had lived off her campaign donations and did not pay staffers while accumulating thousands in debt. Unlike O'Donnell, Castle was able to back up his attacks with hard evidence. As you can see, it was a brutal campaign. But that's Republican politics, no holds barred, especially in the Tea Party era. And through this mud-throwing Delaware Senate primary, O'Donnell came out on top. In a race so close that it is very likely that Palin's endorsement pushed her over the edge. Now, if you were a Delaware voter at the time, you didn't even follow the Republican Senate primary, and let's face it, most people don't. You may have still recognized O'Donnell from somewhere. Well, that's because she had lost to Joe Biden 2 years earlier, running for the same exact Senate seat. Quite badly, too. But if you're an O'Donnell fan, you may be thinking, hey, this is Joe Biden we're talking about, Delaware's favorite son. No one wins that race. And the margin? Well, that was a good Democratic year, but 2010 is going to be a red wave, all the indicators show, and O'Donnell will now have the win at her back. Besides, many famous politicians go on to win after experiencing defeat. Plus, no one expected her to beat Castle either. Christine O'Donnell will be a part of a new crop of Tea Party politicians coming to shake up Washington with their unabashed conservatism and finally turn government back to the people. And she's losing really badly. Her opponent, Newcastle County Executive Chris Coons, was mild-mannered and offensively non-controversial.
Chris Coons has a wide array of experience. As in-house counsel for W.L. Gore, he knows how business works, large and small.
The concrete, bottom-line business sense that I got in those 8 years has helped make me a better county executive.
His record of balanced budgets, responsible spending, and AAA county bond ratings proved to be the perfect, boring contrast to O'Donnell, and voters flocked to him. Republican leaders pulled money from O'Donnell, thinking she was a lost cause.
It does conservatives little good to support candidates who, at the end of the day, while they may be conservative in their public statements, do not evince the characteristics of rectitude and truthfulness and sincerity and character that the voters are looking for. I think there are just a lot of nutty things she's been saying. I'm for the Republican, but I got to tell you, we were looking at 8 to 9 seats in the Senate. We're now looking at 7 to 8, in my opinion. This is not a race we're going to be able to win.
Castle refused to endorse her, his campaign calling O'Donnell a liar and a con. What those Republican primary voters liked in O'Donnell, Democrats, and most importantly, independents, loathed. Alright, so there were already a ton of problems. But believe it or not, that was just the beginning. Not only did her scandals and controversies come back, but they multiplied. More details about back taxes and debts, not paying staffers, old anti-masturbation campaigns.
The Bible says that lust in your heart is committing adultery. So you can't masturbate without lust.
These gaffes.
American scientific companies are crossbreeding humans and animals and coming up with mice with fully functioning human brains.
What opinions of late that have come from our High Court do you most object to?
Oh, gosh. Give me a specific one. I'm sorry.
Actually, I can't because I need you to tell me which ones you object to.
I'm very sorry right off the top of my head. I know that there are a lot, but I'll put it up on my website.
Where in the Constitution is separation of church and state?
And most of all, witches.
I'm not a witch.
Bill Maher, who had O'Donnell on one of his shows in the late 90s, released this clip.
I dabbled into witchcraft. I never joined a coven.
Wait a minute,
you
were a witch?
Yeah, she was.
I was
was a witch.
I mean, wait a minute.
That's exactly why.
How are you to be a witch?
Because I dabbled into witchcraft. I hung around people who were doing these things.
Having fun?
I'm not making this stuff up. I know what they told me they do.
Well, what they do?
I mean, in one of my dates, my first date
I want to hear about this.
one of my first dates with a witch was on a satanic altar, and I didn't know it. And I mean, there's little blood there and stuff like that.
That was a date? Your first date was a satanic
yeah, we
altar?
went to a movie and then like had a little midnight picnic.
Let's have a movie and a sacrifice?
The public ate it up, partially because O'Donnell's brand was built on showing off how religious she was, and it looked hypocritical to record believers for her to be laughing about witchcraft and sacrifices. But most importantly, because it was ridiculous and funny. I mean, I shouldn't have to explain it to you. So then comes her response. And boy, was it a response.
I'm not a witch. I'm nothing you've heard. I'm you. None of us are perfect, but none of us can be happy with what we see all around us. Politicians who think spending, trading favors, and backroom deals are the ways to stay in office. I'll go to Washington and do what you do. I'm Christine O'Donnell, and I approve this message. I'm you.
Multiple SNL parodies and scathing news reports later, O'Donnell loses in a blowout. What was once a solid Republican pickup was now firmly in Democratic hands. In fact, Coons is still a sitting senator, and actually a pretty popular one. And Republicans were unable to retake the Senate in 2010, partially as a result of Tea Party extremists like O'Donnell. So what's the moral? Well, forget ideological purity, especially in tough races. Make sure your candidate can win, because if they can't win, all the commitment to ideals in the world won't make the least bit of difference. Also, don't be a witch.
I'm not a witch.
New from the Reform Party, it's the new Jesse Ventura action figure. You can make Jesse battle special interest groups.
I don't want your stupid money.
And party politics.
We politicians have powers the average man can't comprehend.
Thank you everyone for watching. These videos take about 40 hours to make, so please like and subscribe. It means a lot. Let me know what you think in the comments. Also, tell me any other elections you'd like to see covered. Thanks again, guys. See you soon with another video.